कैमरा इस तरफ है तो उस तरफ हो जाएगा.
Right, our group is going to propose an international center of excellence for the sustainable built environment. Allow me to give a brief introduction and some challenges that we are facing in the current times. We have most of the statistics have been shown on the screen, but in summary, we are kind of facing an era where construction industry and built environment is a major contributor to the carbon footprint. And the problem is not going to go away. Actually, it is going to expand exponentially. You can see by 2060, the total floor area of the buildings will be doubled from what we have now. And that is a major challenge to cope with in terms of our sustainable infrastructure. Okay, so let me present you
we would like to make a case that why it is important to have a sustainable built environment in Pakistan. And a lot of that has been discussed already, but to make our case more tangible, we will just quickly go through it. So environmentally, we don't have water. And in areas where we have water, we don't pay for that, like areas in Punjab mostly. And there are areas where we do not have water and we have infrastructure, but again the water is coming through garbage. The second is the blackout. So we have mentioned blackout because the energy mix we have right now is not a sustainable one, because we are producing now major chunks through our coal production. The second part is that even if we are going to get that energy, that is going to be so expensive that if you talk about industrial revolution in Pakistan, or improving the production, manufacturing, then it will not be compatible to the regional players like India, Bangladesh or Sri Lanka. Third is the garbage pictures. We have seen them in the last 2 days presentations, many of them. Gas is now barely available. The infrastructure is there, but we do not have gas, especially in winters when it is required, and for a residential sector. And citywide development and planning is there, but mostly it is done on ad hoc basis. The second part is the bylaws. So what we have identified is that there are a lot of regulations, there are a lot of bylaws which are available in different provinces. Different agencies have worked on it. We have DFID, USAID, British Council, WWF. You will find a lot of literature, but you will find a lot of fragmentation in them. You will not see one agency coordinating with the other agency. I know so many of different universities in Pakistan working on the same thing, but there is no single platform which can bring all of them together, all of that research together. So that's very, very important, that we need a platform. And third is the economic viability. The capital cost, because when we talk about sustainable built environment or green buildings or sustainable infrastructure, everyone thinks that it's going to cost us arm and leg, but that's not the case. In fact, we are going to save in the longer run, because an average life of a structure or a building is between 80 to 100 years. So if you make a green building or a sustainable building today, that will save you for next 80 to 100 years. So our mission is that how we want to achieve that is to involve policymakers, professionals, academia, and society at large, because the project name, as you can see, is ICESB, which means that International Center for Excellence in Sustainable Built Environment. The I is significant. We have kept it that way because it's international. It stands for intelligent, and it stands for inclusion. So that's what we want, and that's what our mission statement also describes.
So, thank you. Allow me to, having seen the goals, allow me to present our team. So we have got a team both from UK and from Pakistan, but the main focus would be the strength of the team. So we have highlighted some of those, and we would take this real opportunity of the strengths of the team to kind of join in and provide, or try to provide, an integrated solution that we can use to solve the problem that we have just highlighted to you. In terms of objectives, what we want to achieve, keeping in mind all those strengths, we are going to engage all key stakeholders to develop a policy and a framework around that policy, and then we will hopefully be ending up with some best industry practice guidelines so that we can provide real practical solutions to the designers, to contractors, to consultants to be able to use those in the design, keeping the viabilities in place. We will be having a section of innovative local construction materials, where we are going to develop new materials, utilize local sources that we have on it, and be able, with the aim to try to reduce the footprint on the use of those materials and the technologies being used in the construction. We are going to develop means to improve sustainability and energy efficiency of new and existing building structures. We would certify the material and construction techniques on that green platform, so that we would be able to assure the industry that if they use those techniques and those materials, they will end up with the right objectives being achieved in that sense. We are going to develop a prototype, 2 structures we will make to showcase those technologies and show them, demonstrate it to be working. And hence we will also kind of do viability analysis around it to be able to demonstrate that these are not expensive options, but these are just different way of thinking onto the same buildings. At the end, we would also invest in increasing the capacity and capability of our professionals. So with these objectives in mind, how are we going to deliver it? Methodology. So we have a work package 0, which is primarily our integration of all the stakeholders and representing the development within the project. We will be meeting every 6 months between the Pakistan and UK partners. And then within that, we have 3 core areas. One of them is around the policy framework, the other one is around innovative materials development, and the third one would be on the prototyping element. And finally, we will disseminate it through training of the existing engineers and industrial partners. In order to sustain this center beyond the 3 years of funding, we are actually going to start to do the accreditation of the training. So anybody who is training it, we will assess them and give them an accreditation certificate so that they are competent with that technology. But we are also going to have certification of those green construction materials. So this will generate continuous income for the center, which will keep it going beyond the 3 years period.
So, first we need to understand that if we are talking about the center, our proposal is a little bit different from the other proposals, as what we are saying is that we want to develop a center which will identify a problem with the help of stakeholders and then develop a solution for that. So we have not targeted a specific problem related to sustainable infrastructure development or building design and construction. We know that there are so many of them, but with a collaborative approach, we can resolve one by one. So we have identified the partners. We have private sector, academia, general public, and NGOs. When I say NGOs, that includes all the building and construction industry stakeholders, which includes architects, engineers, developers, contractors, consultants, interior designers, landscape designers, infrastructure designers, urban planners, and all of them. And government, of course, is the nucleus of whatever we will be doing. So this excellence center, we have 5 minutes, or it's just been 5 minutes? Okay. So the center is going to be a platform to that kind of integration. That's it. So we have also identified few barriers in the local market. So we are talking about shifting a conventional building and construction industry, or conventional infrastructure development industry, to a green one. So we know that the market is not ready for it right now. We have that is as a barrier. The financial support is not available. There are very few banks or financial institutions which can provide that kind of financial assistance, like this one, where we hope to get funds so we can do this. technically, if someone or government decides to do something good, or they want to create a sustainable infrastructure development, let's say in Peshawar or Islamabad, Karachi, wherever, there is not much technical assistance available. Awareness in public is very low, and there are very few institutes which are teaching sustainable infrastructure development or green building design and construction as a subject. And also we have aligned, all of you know about the sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals are very huge. They've been, there are almost 17 of them. There are 9 of them which are directly or indirectly related to building and construction industry. This is some reason it's not working, but I'll go very quickly. So we have identified that the stakeholders, we have owners and building users, we have consultants and contractors, developers and investors. Then in second circle we have banks, private organizations, planners, the TMA, TMO, all those, and value advisors. And then there is a black platform which you see. So this Excellence Center will have different role in different areas. In the inner circle, we will promote and advocate demand for green construction. In the second circle, we will work with the industry and financial institute to provide resources for green construction. And the outermost layer, which is the main platform, work with the policymakers and industry professionals in developing the bylaws.
Okay, and in the second work package, we are going to look at developing innovative materials and modifying the ones which we already have. So we have track record in this. I've just shown some examples of it. Mud block in local area in Pakistan can be used. We are already starting to use waste from other industries such as rice husk and converting it into a material which we can actually use in replacing concrete, replacing cement in concrete. We have also created cement-free concrete where we don't use any cement but use some of the waste byproducts from other industry to be able to contribute into green materials. We also have more advanced structural elements where we are using fiber reinforcement instead of these conventional steel rebars. And these are being used. In the work package 3, we are now going to look for prototyping. Once we have developed some material database, we have the policy in place, we are going to build 2 structures, one in UK, one in Pakistan, based on the local material, to demonstrate and showcase all these technologies which are available and built into those structures to gain confidence of the clients. And these are quite a few of those technologies already available to us. There is an example, a case study, British Council.
I'll just very quickly go through this. So this is a case study of British Council Library. It's a public building. This got LEED certification, LEED Gold certification. It has all the sustainable features like energy efficient or low E glass, natural light, use of local materials, low VOC paints, roof garden. So basically we have case studies in Pakistan which can encourage people to do these things.
So in terms of deliverables, we have identified those deliverables based on the objectives we set up. So we will have milestones defined for them. In terms of socio-economic impact,
what we are looking at is that creating new jobs, new industry, the green industry, which will not be an expenditure but an investment in the future. It will create knowledge exchange opportunities. It will provide new opportunities for the existing professionals who we're going to train after developing the policy. And it will enable the young students, engineering, architecture and construction students, to move into that direction in future and provide consultancies to the government, to the private organizations and to the international projects as well.
So this is our final timeline and costing on different work packages, and it would be quite apparent straight from this slide. So we have worked out the timeline over a 3-year period, but the main focus point is to make sure that it will not stop after 3 years, it will sustain itself after that period. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Green Group.
Negative mark.
Negative. Well, okay.